Hey everyone, in keeping with my May plan to not do more than 3 days of review uploads in a row, I worked on a custom build, and this is the result. I wanted to replace the cargo truck that I had from the 2014 cargo train set, and for whatever reason I wanted to use one of the windscreens from this year's 2019's cargo train set. Actually, technically, the one that I have there is the original green version from the 2014, also 2014 Doc Ox truck heist set, I think it was. But anyway, those are kind of the two main things that I wanted. And I, of course, wanted something in the end that was different, that didn't look like anything else that, at least that Lego has officially made, and didn't look like anything else that I had made. So this is what I came up with, and as usual, it's made for my city, so I'm definitely not going to change it for anyone else, to meet anyone else's tastes. I may change it to meet my own tastes in the future if there's something that I decide that I want to change. But, I'm just sharing this in case there's anybody who does want to see it. If you don't want to see it, then just click away, no problem. But I'm going to show you the build. Once again, I recorded the build in real time, which actually wasted a whole lot of disk space. I was expecting this to be another, not another. I was expecting this to be a quick build for a change, for a custom build. You want to guess how long it took me this time? My last land-based build, that last car that I made, took 10 hours because it had some really crazy building challenges along the way with building techniques that I couldn't figure out for the longest time. They were very, very difficult, regardless of the end result and how small it was and how simple it is to folks who didn't build it. Took a lot of time, a ridiculous amount of time, honestly, for how big it was. But the next build that I did took only 7 hours. That was a plane, and it was much larger. I actually like the end result of that one quite a bit more. So, any guesses as to how long this one took? The good news is the trend has continued. The bad news is I do not expect that trend to continue any further. This one took a mere 3.5 hours of actual building time, which is shocking to me. It felt like a whole lot more, that's for sure. I was hoping that it would be like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I still overshot the mark by quite a bit, versus my expectations, but that's okay. Still, it was better. For something that's this simple, it shouldn't be taking a tremendous amount of time, especially when most of the proper custom work and experimentation work was just done on the front of the thing, for the cab section. So I went back and forth on wheels. I had one idea for wheels for a while, something, again, different. I went back and forth on hood design a little bit, but I fairly early on decided on what overall shape that I wanted for the hood. I'd have a short stub hood, and wanted the whole truck to be smaller than trucks normally would be to scale. I've got some light commercial trucks in my city which are fairly small, and I kind of like that. They're probably too small for the scale of cars that I've done up to this point, but I kind of like having a good contrast between my smaller industrial or commercial trucks and my bigger ones, like big semi rigs. I don't know. It helps me to put more of the smaller trucks on the road as well, and they're not taking up so much space. But the main plan here is to do a flatbed that would just have some rails on the side, and I did want to use actually those old fence pieces. That was one of the early things I forgot about that I had decided early on, actually before I even began the build itself. And I chose the tires for the front and the wheels for the front, their size, because I wanted something narrow up there, but I did want something fairly large in diameter. But then I didn't want to have the bed in the back way up too high, so I kind of went with the staggered diameter, wheel diameter, which I've actually used previously on at least a couple of builds, if I recall correctly. And it's something that actually occurs in real life. If you look around, you'll notice that, especially nowadays with the trend towards lower and lower load heights for easier lifting and better performance and everything, you'll see that a lot of trucks have much smaller wheels and tires in the back than they do up front. This may be a little bit too much contrast. Maybe the front tires are a little bit too low in profile, but I'm okay with how this turned out. Now, the end result of this at the end was definitely not how I expected. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out. I had a big question from very early on as to how I could use that old split windscreen, which really honestly looks old, rather old, and come up with something that would look newish, like it would fit into my city. And in the end, it doesn't really look that newish. It does look different, but it doesn't look new. It doesn't look as new as I would like. It doesn't look as modern as I would like. There's a little bit of International Navistar kind of feeling in it. To me, there's a little bit of, like, is it Grumman? Does Grumman still make the delivery van style things, or whoever picked up the mantle after them, if they're not still doing it? Like the Snap-on ones, maybe there was a Freightliner that did those, but there are some that have just a little bit of hood hump that I kind of see here a little bit. Side view mirrors are camera setups. They're actually a retrofit, which is fairly common in my city, my near future city. So those are staying the way they are. If you want them to be different, if you want them to be current normal side view mirrors, that's cool. Put current normal side view mirrors on your trucks in your city. But in my city, I'm going more and more and more for the little slim ones on all different types of vehicles where I do have them at all. It's just my thing. It's just something that I want to do, so I'm doing it. I was able to use for the first time in a custom build what are they, 1x2x1, I believe, curved pieces, the gray ones that I use for the fuel tanks. I don't think I've used those previously. And the barrels that I ended up placing in the back for cargo have tops on them that are supported by builds underneath that are just kind of set inside that help to center them, because unfortunately those barrels don't have tops that fit. So I wanted to have tops on them, and that's just that. I have completed another custom build. And fortunately, it didn't take me too long this time. I'm not 100% happy with this one. Honestly, it looks a little bit Soviet era Russian. I didn't want it to look that old. And I don't like this right here, this transition. It was a late decision that I made to raise this stack of lights by one plate. And I don't like the transition right there as it is right now. I may end up changing out this piece here. Might go with just a cheese slope there. That might actually help with the overall look. I may bring this grill out or try to inset these quarter circle pieces a bit so that that's a little bit more flush there across the front at some point. The overall face of it is not bad to me. I think it looks better to me in person as I look at it than it does on camera. It looks like the camera's picking up a lot of contrast, especially down here. It's really shaded down there, but it's more than good enough, that's for sure. It's so much better than not having anything in its place, because I wasn't going to put that non-custom one back in my city after I took it out for the dusting work, and now I have one back. I have something. So I'll probably make some changes to this in the future, but for now, this is it. I ran out of time for doing this video to show you where this is going to ultimately be posed, at least for now, and some other stuff that's going to go around its area, but I'll try to follow up and show you the integration of this into the city pretty soon with just a short video with some additional cargo as well. But that's just that. Just wanted to share that because I did it, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon, as always.